Welcome, everybody, to the Blunt Thought Show. I'm your host, Hector from Washington Heights, Hector Moquet, whatever you want to call me. And we're here for a special edition, a very special edition. I'm very excited for. I'm scratching myself, I guess, because I'm nervous now. Um, I'm very excited for this. Very excited for this as we get ready. We're here on the eve of the Subway Series. I don't even know what installment of the Subway Series this is. We know it's been going on since 1997, June 1997, June 16th to be exact. You know, the whole famous Dave Malecki game. And there's been a whole lot more since then. The Yankees obviously kind of, I don't want to say dominated, but they of course lead the series. As I look up the numbers here, um, 80 wins to 62, the Yankees favor. If you add the World Series, 84 and 63. Um, you know, so hoping that the way it's been going lately, coming into this series, maybe the Mets could add a little bit more wins on their side of the column than what's been going on. But as I thought about, okay, it's a day off, and I like to do these things on day off. I feel like fans want something. I know I want something a day off. Every time it's a day off, I'm here, not knowing what to do with myself. So I said, how can I do? What can I do on a day off? What kind of Subway Series preview? And I'm not somebody that does, these previews or recaps and stuff like that. Besides the little roundtable show that I'm a part of with shout out to my guys Rob, Hayden, and CP Chris, that you guys may see me on. But when I thought about doing this, when I started doing this type of stuff, I always thought about having guests and stuff like that. And, part of the reason why I started doing this is because from calling WFAN, and I've gotten to know some of these guys and, great people you have over there. And one of those guys is the gentleman that I'm going to have on here tonight. Again, as we talk about the Yankees, and I'm thinking, who can I kick the Yankees around with? And there's no better person than this gentleman here, my guy, JJ, John Jastremski. JJ After Dark, as I got to know him on WFAN, hosting the overnights. Now hosts his own show, New York, on the Ringer platform. You correct me if I'm wrong, JJ, on the Ringer platform and on Spotify. He does these spaces every now and then, too. He hosts spaces on Twitter. Those are a good thing. I pop in there every now and then. I feel like I'm back on the radio, because I miss this guy. I used to have a lot of fun with this guy, back and forth, just talking about sports in general, New York sports, but obviously Yankees, Mets, what we're here for tonight. But how you doing, JJ? I'm talking too much. How you doing?
Hector, I'm doing great. First off, for you, anything, I'm happy to be on. We've had way too many conversations over the years. And all is well, man. I just fired up some dinner. We'll break down the Subway Series. You'll be a nice little warm-up for me, Hector, before I get ready to do TV later tonight. So, you're warming me up, dude. It's nice.
There you go. And you're not going to get anything more organic and original and whatchamacallit than this as a warm-up. And yeah, like you said, we've had many conversations. We've not gone to, but we've met up at a few games. And I'll ask you again, because I know I asked you earlier in the year, one of your spaces, and I think you're not going to the games because being during the week, and like you mentioned, you're on doing TV. And like, did I say he's also on SNY, guys? BNNY with my guy Sal, another guy I've become friendly with. I'm BNNY.
Hector, I should wear a Grimace t-shirt the next time I see him,
Oh, yeah, you should. Yeah,
I might have to do that. I'll give him like the Grimace action figure,
Yeah, right. And I missed it today, but I think he actually had Grimace on and did a whole apology.
Rightfully so. Good. I'm happy. Listen, Grimace right now is bringing nothing but good vibes to your team. So embrace it.
Like I said, yeah. But listen, I'll be honest. You know me. This is how we got it going, right? Me calling you and being honest and feeling comfortable to be honest with you. Even though you're a Yankee fan, I tell people, oh, but this guy's a Yankee fan. I said, no, this guy is straightforward. Yes, he's a Yankee fan, but he cuts it right down the line. He doesn't play favorites or anything like that. I trust him. Trust me. But when I first saw the Grimace thing, JJ, my first reaction was great. How appropriate the way the season has gone that this guy throws out the first pitch. Because when I watch the games, I'm grimacing most of the time as a Met fan. But if Grimace is what it takes to put a smile on my face watching this team, I'm all for it. JJ, who am I to fight it? I'm not going to fight it.
Hey, listen, Hector, exactly. When you got positive vibes and positive juju working in your favor, you don't try to attack it. You embrace it and you run with it. And if it's gotten maybe a little extra mojo for Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo and, up and down that Met lineup, okay, great. Here's what I know. The Mets are playing as well as anybody here in the month of June. They've gotten their season back on track. And let's be real about this, Hector. 6 weeks into the season, you thought the Met year by this time would be dead and buried. That we'd be talking about sellers, we'd be talking about who's not going to be here, And I don't think they're going to hit as well as they have hit here in the month of June. I don't think that's feasible. I don't think that's sustainable. But the lineup has players who can produce. The bullpen, and I know they got to deal with Diaz now for the next 10 days.
Yeah.
It's been solidified with him back in the closer's role.
Yeah.
And they're finding a way with the rotation. Listen, this wild card's there for the taking. They're right there. You got yourself a season. What more you could hope for, you know?
No, absolutely, Jay. And for me, I came into the season with that mentality, right? Okay, the front office did what it did, whether I agree with it or not. But we still have pieces here where this team can hover around 500. And I believe and I trust in this front office and ownership that if they do that, they'll go out there and make moves to bolster the team. It doesn't mean you're going to sell the franchise, just sell the future and you're going to mortgage your prospects or anything like that. So as the season is playing now, like you said, I'm frustrated to the point where I stopped calling the radio. I stopped even listening for a while because, JJ, I don't want to partake in the conversation about selling Pete Alonso and selling this piece. And let's build value with Luis Severino so that we can trade him for some. No, I want Severino to pitch good so that we can compete, so that we can possibly make a wild card. And whatever happens, happens. I, for one, honestly, I want to re-sign Severino. I think we need to keep that guy around as someone who's been on both sides and can maybe be a leader with all these young guys that we hopefully have coming up. But that could be a conversation for a different day. So, yeah, as we're watching this season and it's playing out the way it is, man, listen, I do a group that goes out to the Subway Series. We're going about 17 of us tomorrow. My friends.
Wow. How about that? You and 16 other guys? Fantastic.
17 of us. I think maybe 3 of us are Met fans. All Yankee fans. This is my life. All my Met fans, my cousins' friends that usually go, there's usually a few more of us. They all have to work. So I'm thinking I don't want to plan this anymore. But as we get to the last few weeks, now I'm the excited one.
No, listen, Hector, think about how things have changed. A month ago, you would have said, what Met fan is going to want to subject themselves to the Subway Series with Soto and Judge and a Yankee team that's a gazillion games over 500? The Mets have had a great 3-week stretch, and inevitably, the Yankees were going to hit a little rough patch here. I'm not the least bit surprised this has happened. And I know a lot of people, Hector, are making a big deal of, okay, it's against premier competition. And yes, am I concerned about Baltimore in the playoffs? Absolutely. But the Yankees, it's not about what they do in the regular season. I'm sorry, it's not. They've had big regular seasons. They've won division titles. How do they have a team that's ready to go for when all the chips are on the table in October? They're going to be in the playoffs. They've done enough already to show you in the first couple of months they're going to be in the playoffs. Honestly, Hector, I don't care if they win a division or they're that first wild card. Build a team that's right to go and win in October. And that's what they got to figure out now over the next few weeks. Listen, the division, it's going to be neck and neck with Baltimore all year. They'll eventually go and beat some winning teams because it's baseball. That's going to happen over 162. Right. You're going to lose some good teams. You're going to beat some good teams. Yankees, they'll have plenty of chances to go and beat good teams. But they have some warts. To me, more than losing these 3 series. I know people are going to make, micro, macro type deals of, they can't beat a good team. They can't. No. This is about the bottom of the order being weak. This is about the bullpen needing an extra swing and miss arm. This is about a little regression within the starting rotation. That, to me, is where you got to look at it from the Yankee side of things and say, all right, this is where we should be concerned, not the idea that we've lost 3 series in a row.
Great. No, and you're kind of leading to what I was going to ask. And it's like, where are you right now with everything that's gone on? And where were you coming into the season as far as expectations? Because I know, you listen to the radio and stuff. And I know there's fans that been down on Cashman. Some felt like maybe it's time to move on from Brian Cashman. I've told you over the radio a lot of times, hey, I'll take him over here with the Mets. You know what I mean? Because I thought he's been a good leader. I don't even know what his title with you guys is, GM, president, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't think he's the GM. Listen, Hector, I thought they were a playoff team going into the year. I did not think they were better than Baltimore. So far, they're a game better than Baltimore. Baltimore has owned them in the head-to-head matchups. And right. I got news for you, Hector. The way this is shaking out, Yankees want to go to the World Series. They have to beat the Orioles. That's just look at the playoff bracket. Look at the way it's going to boil down in the American League. One of them is going to end up as the 1 seed. The loser of the division is probably going to be in the 4 or 5, and they're probably going to win. It's probably going to be Yankees and Orioles in the second week of October, and that'll determine if it's a successful season or not. Yankees got to get to a World Series. Listen, Hector, I get your point about Cashman. He's body of work, more good than bad. No argument. Like, he's been the GM of the Yankees since 1998. But I think this goes for the entire organization. This goes for the manager, the GM, the core of this team. If not now, then when for the Yankees? You know what I mean? For years, it was the Astros. They can't beat the Astros. They can't beat the Astros. The Astros, who knows if they're going to be dead or not? That's a story that will play out over the next few weeks. And I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run in the second half of the year because of all the pedigree that's on that team.
Right.
But the Orioles are now the new Astros. Oh, it's the Orioles. It's the Orioles. Well, you got Judge in his prime. You got Cole in his prime. You've added Soto. You need to go and make those complementary moves to get this core that's full of superstar type of talents in a World Series. Like the fact that Aaron Judge, as good a player as he is, Hector, and he's phenomenal, top 2, top 3 player in the sport. The fact that he is not playing a World Series game is a travesty. I mean, let's call it like it is. That's travesty.
No, absolutely. And listen, he's not getting any younger. And with the injury history, even the whole toe thing, which a lot of people thought, oh, maybe the toe is why he's having a slow start. And we could debunk that already. But let me ask you, JJ, because honestly, like I was saying as I came in here, you're one of the reasons why I'm doing this. You, my buddy Sal, Tony Page, shout out to him, Mark Malusis, you know what I mean? My first call that I remember ever making to the fan, honestly speaking, was back in 1999.
Wow. Okay.
I think it was,
full circle.
I think it was the sweater and the schmoozer. It was definitely the schmoozer. I called about the Knicks, and people were driving me crazy about the Knicks would be better off without Patrick Ewing, and I couldn't believe it. Like, no, a healthy Patrick Ewing is what we need to go on this playoff run. We know what happened there. Anyway,
you won that one, Hector. I don't know if anyone was debating you on that. What they got? Travis Knight, Glenn Rice, and a bunch of stiffs. I mean, don't get me started. Revisionist history.
Even on that playoff one, people would thought they would be better to have, because Ewing was dealing with injury. I think he had missed some time, and Camby was playing well. So people were like, "Oh, we don't even need Ewing to come back." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? There's no way." But anyways, so time went on, and you call here and there, but you guys made me comfortable. Moose, Tony Page, yourself, and I'm almost losing my train of thought as to even why I'm saying this, but this is why I'm saying this. I'm pretty sure you might have been one of the guys, because this goes back till then, right? Where after Juan Soto's first year, I'm like, listen, I don't care what it is. I don't care what they do. I want the Mets to be ready to go get Juan Soto when he becomes a free agent. And all of you guys are like, Hector, what are you talking about? This is 4 or 5 years away. You're out of your mind. I'm like, well, you haven't guys picked up on this? I'm insane. These are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. But I love this guy, right? So when he gets traded to the Yankees this offseason, JJ, I've maybe watched 3 innings altogether of Yankees baseball because I can't stand it. Tomorrow and Wednesday will be the most I watch the Yankees because I can't stand the sight of him on the Yankees. Now, I know in the last few days I've heard rumblings here and there. Some Yankee fans are a little bit upset with his approach at the plate and swing the bat, and you take it to.
Oh my God, Hector! Honestly, those Yankee fans, can you slap them across the head for me the next time you see them? I mean, my God, how silly can you be? I mean, listen, I understand there are things you want to complain about with your team. If Juan Soto's on that list, you got problems, dude. I'm sorry, Hector. And I know he's been shaky over the last week. Look at his numbers. Look at what he's done in the lineup. Please. Nonsense. Okay?
Well,
nonsense.
And like you said before, right? I was hoping the Mets weren't going to keep playing the way they were, as bad as they were for the time that they were. And we knew, like you said, that the Yankees were going to have a little bit of maybe a little lull or whatever. What you want to do is find that in between, that perfect balance. What I kept saying with the Mets is the Mets seem to take 3 steps forward, 4 steps forward, and they'll take 5 or 6 back. So they'll win 4 or 5. They'll go on a 6-game winning streak and then lose 4 out of the next 6. You know what I mean? And then maybe win 1 or 2 and then go lose another 3 or 4. They'll win 3 series and then go lose 5 out of the next 7. You know what I mean? But now they're on this high that obviously they're not going to be able to maintain. And they're also going to come down a little bit. But you hope that the good teams, the good players will go on a 2 for 12. But you're not going to go on a 2 for 35, 37, 38. That's not what you do. you limit those slumps, and that's what you hope to do. The Yankees, you're confident that they're able to do that. I'm hoping that the Mets are now able to find that perfect balance. But listen, and just on the Soto thing, and the reason why I haven't been able to watch is I don't see how he leaves the Yankees. Now, talking about the grumblings that I hear, I'm like, okay, keep those coming. Make him maybe feel uncomfortable to the point that he says, you know what, maybe I don't.
I know you'd be rooting for that. Listen, I think money will talk. The Yankees are going to have to make a monstrous offer to keep him. But you see the ballpark, Hector. I know you're not dialed in on the Yankees, but you know what's going on. Yankee Stadium
well,
is
that's
filled
why I'm not dialed in. I kept
night.
saying that. Yeah, I kept saying that.
They love the guy.
Understand?
They got the Dominican flags out in the outfield.
Exactly.
He's got the chemistry and the rapport he has with Judge and with all the guys on this team. It's eye-opening as far as I'm concerned. And, the Yankees are going to have money coming off the books. Maybe not next year, but DJ LeMahieu's contract will be up. Giancarlo Stanton's contract will be up. And they're not going to pay Gleyber Torres. There's no chance with the way he's played, and he's just not going to be a priority. I think the Yankees are going to say, yeah, this is the guy we want, and we'll make the other pieces work around him. Because, you think about free agents over the next 2 years. Hector, I know there'll be good players that find a way to free agency. It happens. As young, as charismatic as this guy, not finding them. They don't grow. Juan Soto's don't grow on trees, dude. So I think the Yankees, hopefully for their sake, are aware of that.
And he's a proven commodity, both in the regular season and in the postseason. We've seen this guy do it, going to run, what was it, at 19 years old.
Couldn't even legally drink, and he's pounding Verlander and Cole. Think about that,
There you go. So, I mean, I like I said, I'm still hoping, and we'll see how that breaks down. But I think you guys will probably keep him. And and let me ask you this, though. How do you feel about the Hal Steinbrenner comments that we heard maybe three weeks ago, I say, or so, where he talked about, we can sustain this kind of payroll? Does that give you any little worry or trepidation? That's like, maybe we will let this guy walk.
Not necessarily. He also mentioned some of the contracts that I just alluded to, that they're going to have more payroll flexibility as the years go on. So, Hector, I think anything you hear now in April and May, and now into June, it's all lip service, man. It's all lip service. They said they had a limit in the price on Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge goes and hits 62 home runs. The Yankees, they flame out, and Soto is doing his thing, and he's, carrying them in the postseason. I don't know how you sell your fan base. Hey, we're not bringing Juan Soto back. That's and let him go to the Mets. That'll be a tough look for Hal Steinbrenner. I know you'll be happy about it, but I won't be.
Yeah, I would be ecstatic about it, but I just don't believe it. And I'll be honest with you. I also worry about getting a player. As much as I love the player, JJ, I don't want players coming to the Mets exclusively just for the money. And I know that's mostly what they do. They go where the money's at. But at least lie to me a little bit. I like when players make it seem like, I studied. Remember the A-Rod back in the Texas Rangers where he said how he studied the farm system and he knew all the guys coming up. And he they always say that. Listen, we laughed at Jacob deGrom when last year told us, I like what I see here in Texas, and I think they're building something well. He
wasn't really a big part of it, but guess what? He was right about that.
Yeah, exactly.
He was right about that. And listen, Hector, you got to build that winning culture in order to get over that stigma of, hey, guys are just coming to the Mets for money. And listen, Cohen right now is fighting a battle that wasn't his battle a few years ago. This idea that Mets are a losing team. This idea that the Mets were not this premier destination for players. And did he overpay Scherzer to get him? Yes. Did he overpay Verlander to get him? Yes. Did he overpay Lindor when, they traded for him? They probably should have let him play out the year. And they said, we need good PR. Let's, show that we can flex financially. Cohen's got money to do that. You need Stearns to build your winning culture. And then it will be hey, not only do we want to come to the Mets because we're going to get a nice big fat paycheck, we want to come to the Mets because the Mets have a really good team. That is the element at play here. And listen, so far this year, you came out of the abyss. The team has not quit on Carlos Mendoza. I didn't like the Mendoza hire when they made it. I'll be the first to tell you. I didn't like it. I said, you're getting a Yankee bench coach from Aaron Boone's staff, and I'm supposed to be excited about that? I wasn't. He's done a really nice job. Now, it's The one thing I'll say about Mendoza this year, Hector, there are no expectations because the Mets went in with what, an 81 and a half over-under number. So it's not like the Mets went into this year, wow, you got to go win 90, 95 games. A little different from that standpoint. But what I like about a manager is when a team gets off to a rotten start, or rats jumping off the ship, or are they rallying together? He has been able to keep this team together. And I think it's the most commendable thing he's done this year. I mean, think about what he did with the lineup. Now, I don't know if that's him. I don't know if that's Stearns. Who the hell knows now in baseball with the way these front offices are involved. But putting Lindor in the leadoff spot, good move. Moving JD Martinez up to the 3 spot, good move. It's led to good quality results. So that to me is where, listen, I was skeptical when the Mets made a managerial change and hired Mendoza. So far, he's really impressed me.
You know, listen, I'm glad you touched on that. And for me, JJ, you know me, I'm trying to think I'm something. I've actually been calling for some of these lineup moves. So I do my little videos I do here on Twitter and stuff like that. And they're on Twitter because I forget that we're on YouTube also, man. And I'm like, oh, they watch my stuff. They watch my stuff because they're doing my adjustments. But no, when they hired Mendoza, and JJ, again, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I know you got to get out of here about 8:30. So we're going to try to get you out of here in about 9 minutes or so. And I want to look a little bit towards the future, but this is like a radio call, and I don't have any preparation. I told you behind the scenes, like, hey, buddy, it's going to be like back in the days on the radio. It's just, I guess I'll be kind of in control. I'm a little nervous, but let's do it.
You got me, and I take it from there. Exactly. I like this. I like this adjustment, Hector. It's easy.
I mean, listen, it's just shooting the breeze. But when they hired Mendoza, obviously, and we had heard the whole time, Craig Counsell was the guy. So for me, it was like, oh, all this time, Craig Counsell was the guy, and you couldn't get your man. So, you know, me being the skeptical Met fan, I'm like, okay, here we go. This David Stearns guy, in his first move, he's already a failure, right? And then I'm thinking about Mendoza himself. And don't forget where we coming from not too long ago. We had Luis Rojas, who was highly touted, who came through the minor league system, who you know, managed internationally in Dominican Republic and all of these places, who came from a bloodline of great baseball people, JJ, and it drove me crazy how this guy had no handle of the game, how this guy seemed to not be able to handle the team, the media, anything. He had no clue what was going on. So I'm like, oh man, we're going that route again, because you hear all the similarities. Mendoza, minor league, comes up to the system, you know, on the bench. I don't know was he the bench coach on the Yankees?
Mendoza, yeah. He started, I think, as a first base coach, and then he transitioned to a bench coach. He's been a bench coach the last 4 years, I think.
Right. But so that, you know, it's almost the same trajectory and everything. But then I heard him speak. And, you know, a lot of times you hear these guys speak and it's like, okay, whatever. But to your point, and I've argued with so many people about this, I do think he's in charge of the lineup. Yes, there may be still some collaboration. There may be a list of, hey, this is what we think you should go with. But I think he's able to make his own decisions as far as a lineup. And I think we see what I've mostly been impressed. Well, I've been impressed with so much with this guy. The way he holds guys accountable in his post-game press conferences, because he does do that. He doesn't give us the Buck, you know, run around and talk about this guy when we're asking you about this guy. And I loved Buck. I was a Buck guy. But Buck, at the end, I don't know. But the way his honesty, I appreciate. The way his in-game management, and he takes chances. And I always say this too, JJ. When the moves work, when the players execute, the manager looks good.
They make it look a lot better. But how about him keeping Severino in on Sunday night? Perfect example. Instead of taking him out of that game, he goes out, he gives him the little rah-rah speech, and lets him get through that 6th inning. I like stuff like that, Hector.
No, and I don't know if it was all him, but even moving Severino up for that series, which some people were upset
And you know what,
about.
Hector? Listen, you know, I'm glad you brought this up. The fan in me, the host in me, wanted Severino to pitch against the Yankees. It's great theater. It's great drama. It's this idea of this, you know, cast-off Yankee coming back against them in the Subway Series. Like, it would have been a fantastic storyline to talk about this week. From a Mets standpoint, I totally get what they're doing. Cub game's more important. Hey, the Cubs right now are one of the teams you're trying to beat out in the National League wildcard race, right? And if it's a tiebreaker, they don't play one-game playoff sector. It's who's got the better head-to-head record, the Mets or the Cubs. You now have the better head-to-head record because you beat them 2 out of 3 at Wrigley Field. Correct me if I'm wrong. There ain't no stinking tiebreaker against the Yankees, you know? So Who
I
gives a
want to
rat's
win
ass?
it for my personal battles with my buddies. You know what I mean? I talked to you about the outings that I do. I think they actually have a winning record in these outings when we go out there. So, yeah, of course, I want the best opportunity to try to win those games. But what are you going to do? At the end of the day, I want to put myself in the best position to make a wild card if that's the path
Yeah,
to
listen, the
advance.
Mets did right by Severino, and he pitched well on Sunday. Good decision.
Yeah, he
Bottom
took the
line,
challenge.
good
And
decision.
yeah, absolutely. He took the challenge and said, you know what? I'm going to do the job. And even before that, JJ, there was talk about his strikeouts and people were concerned with what's going on. He said, oh, you guys are worried about my strikeouts? He has 10 of those big babies, you know what I mean, with no walks. But we got about 5 minutes here, so we're going to try to look ahead real quick. Basically, your feeling, and again, you're not going out because of the work. I do want to, I'll ask you at the end. Coming into the series with everything that's going on, you guys have lost the last 3. You're 3-7 in the last 10. We're on fire. We're unbeatable. The hottest team in baseball. You know the numbers. I think we're, what the heck is it, 13-6 in June or whatever it is. 8-2 in the Grimace era. You wanted to attach it to Jose Iglesias. Great record since then, or since Lindor. There's so many things that we can point like this is the turnaround. The meeting and the leadership that Lindor, I think, and too bad we couldn't touch on that, but Lindor finally, I think, feeling comfortable in being that leader along with
talk and
Brandon
walk the
Nimmo.
walk. Yeah, listen,
Yeah,
I don't put a whole lot of stock usually, Hector, in those team meetings. Clearly, it had an impact on the team because they've been more, Martinez talked about the idea of them being more relaxed. I've noticed it,
Yeah.
like basically F it. Why not? Let's play ball.
And JJ, listen, even in your spaces, and for years, because it's something as fans, and sometimes fans try to be a little hypocritical. We've been questioning this team and their processes and their work and how they get ready and all of this stuff. So when they have a meeting and they tell me, listen, we challenge each other and we talked about the processes. And yeah, you're working hard, but are you working right? Because that's always something that I've said. You can work as hard as you want, but if you're doing things wrong, the results aren't going to be any good. So and the way things were going, I took something from it. And I think the results are there. But again, you don't put too much into that. At the end of the day, you got to handle it on the field. They have gotten better pitching. Diaz has been a little bit better. That has helped to move guys into the better slots where they belong. Because I think we were using Reed Garrett out of position and stuff like that, maybe asking him to do a little bit too much. I don't want to see too much of Ottavino in the 9th inning or even in the 8th for that matter, or the 7th. And the same thing with Drew Smith. So little things like that we've been able to do better with the guys actually performing better through the lineup. But what's your feeling as we have about 2 minutes here before I got to let you go? Just going into the series, I think the matchup, I know we have Peterson and Quintana, I believe.
Cole and Heel. Cole on Tuesday, Heel on Wednesday. Hector, I think these teams split. I know.
Which is usually the case.
And that's why I don't like not playing a 3-game series.
Exactly.
And I don't need to see both at Yankee and Citi. I'll be honest, and I'll never do this, Hector. I think it would be more special if they alternated home venues. Like, it would make the Citi Field year that much more special because you're not getting it the next year. Or when the Mets come to Yankee Stadium, hey, you're getting them for 3 and you alternate every other year. They'll never do it. It's a money grab. I totally understand why they want to have each team have home games or whatnot, but I don't like the 2-2. I don't. I don't like it. I'd rather at least the 3-game series. So I'll say, cop out answer. They split these two because Jets. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, I probably expect the same thing. I'll be honest with you too, JJ, and I say this all the time. I almost prefer to play a hot team than to play a team that's struggling because I
get that. I get that.
You guys are due. We're due to get cold because we're on fire. And you guys are due to turn it around because you guys have been stumbling. And what better time to turn it around than the Subway Series against your City? Whatever. It's more of a rivalry for us fans. I mean, I was looking out here before real quick. What JD Martinez says, I don't think about that. The players always dismiss it. They used to lose to me in Boston, with Yankees, Red Sox. And I'm like, who's pitching? What does he throw? That's
I mean, listen, I think for a lot of these guys, it's all ball. But when they're playing in front of 45, 50,000 people, they'll realize, this ain't a Tuesday night against the Marlins. You know what I'm saying, Hector? It's a little different.
Yeah, no. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. And we've hit the 30-minute mark, and I want to get you out of here. But I did want to ask you something because I told you in your space earlier this year, and it's too bad we're not going to be able to meet at the Yankees-Mets
No, but I'll hopefully see you at Yankee Stadium in a month. I will be there for that.
Okay, you will be there. Okay.
The first game that Tuesday, I'll be at Yankee Stadium.
Okay,
So
because this is what I wanted to do, JJ. Back in the 90s, where my hatred for the Yankees wasn't as much as it is now, right? And not even because I just like going to a ball game. And I used to work at UNICEF, United Nations Children's Fund, whatever. And I had somebody that worked there who was part of the bleacher creatures. And they used to always go to the games. And I would go with him sometimes, mainly when they played Boston, Pedro Martinez. I grew up knowing Manny Ramirez. I go to these games and root against the Yankees and sit with him in the bleachers, but because I was with him, they took
it easy on you. I understand.
Yeah. But one thing that he used to always take me to, and I used to have fun, was the bodega. And I always hear you talking about the bodega.
How about this? The first Yankee-Met game at Yankee Stadium, a couple of Modelos and Presidentes will be waiting for you, and Absolutely. I'll meet you out in the back at the bodega. That's a date.
There you go.
You're on.
That's what we're under right there. Because as I was getting prepared to do this and try to promote it, whatever, and I don't do a good job, and I have my cousin that helps me out, but he's busy. So, sometimes I got to deal with what he got. And I'm trying to find a picture of you, and I saw the picture you have and you're in that's the bodega, no? I think that's the bodega.
I got to be honest. I got to look. Hector, I got to be honest with you.
It's a bodega, and, you're there excited. And I'm like, I got to go with JJ before one of these games to the bodega and have some fun. So we will do it. It's a
absolutely, bro. You know it, Hector. Brother, thanks for having me, man. And I'll be sure to share on social media. You're one of the true great ones. One of my favorite people that call and that I get a chance to interact with, which I really appreciate.
Jay, you don't know how much that means to me. I appreciate you. Don't think this will be the last time. When I started doing this, there was 2 people that I said I will have to have on before I have anyone on. And it was you or Sal, and one of you guys had to be the first. You've been my first guest doing this. Sal will come on at some time.
There we go. I let it off with a bang.
This won't be the last.
I let it off like Soriano, baby, with a leadoff homer. Absolutely. I like it. I like it.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
Hector, anytime, man. Take care, dude.
All right, brother. There you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm not going to hang out too long. We got into conversation as if we were on a radio. So it's not your typical maybe breakdown that you wanted as for player, pitcher matchup, hitting matchup, and all that good stuff. But I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to have on much more. I did want to talk a little bit about Yankees Mets. But I'm going to be on in about an hour as part of the roundtable. So I do have a couple of things that I want to do. But I do want to thank all you guys that came in here and were a part of this. I am sorry that I neglected. Wow, I even forgot about the comments. I'm sorry that I neglected to even check all these comments, but I appreciate all of you guys. I'm looking at all of them now. And yeah, man, I just apologize that I didn't. I just totally forgot. I'll be honest with you guys, man. I'm a novice at this, or whatever the case may be, but this is what I like. I like conversation. And this turned into like if it was almost a phone call that I made to the fan that, I guess they had no callers and let me on and let me take control of the call. And the host is still on there with me. So it just turned into conversation. And I totally forgot that in this thing it's good to it's good to acknowledge you guys. And then I look and the first comment I see, well, besides my guy Derek, man, I appreciate you, man. Always helping me out here. I even had these starred so that I can bring them up. But besides these great comments, the first thing I see is my guy Junior, who says this better be worth it. I hope it was worth it, my brother. I hope it was worth it, man. But no, man, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the Subway Series. Like I said, I did end there with JJ. It doesn't probably mean as much to the players, or so they say it doesn't. But for us, it always does, right? Because you either have a family member that's a Yankee fan, you have maybe a significant other that's a Yankee fan, you have a friend, co-workers, neighbors, whatever the case may be that are Yankee fans, and there's always that back and forth, Yeah, man, Rick, I miss him too. Brother. Trust me. So there's always that back and forth, but you want bragging rights. And it's too bad. Like they just said that we only get 2 games here, 2 games there, and there's no really like, oh, we won the series, Maybe if one team wins 3 out of the 4, they can say, oh, we won the season series at least. But I'm looking forward to listen. The Mets are on the high, the Yankees are a little bit on the low, But they're always good games, anyways, man. I forgot to reference it with JJ, but we know all the games that we've had, all the historic games that we had, and maybe not so historic or some that we would like to forget about, like the Luis Castillo, But then you have the David Wright walk-off of Mariano. It's just so many, And then just the way the Mets are playing right now, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch, no matter who they're playing. And then you throw on top that I'm going to be out there tomorrow with my friends and family, and that's always a good time to spend time with your friends and family. And listen, I'm such a rookie. Why do I still have this thing looking like this? But I'm just excited, ladies and gentlemen, and I was excited to do this. And hopefully, if you guys enjoyed it, whether you enjoy it or not, this is my show, and this is the kind of show that it's going to be, where we just have conversation. And it's not always going to be people on the level of JJ. It's going to be other guys that do the same thing that I do on here. You know what I mean? Other content creators. I feel uncomfortable even calling myself that. But again, I'll be back on now in a little bit less than an hour. I don't want to keep this on too long. For people that go back and rewatch, appreciate you. Appreciate you guys that are here watching live. I appreciate all the comments. I'll try to go back and read them, but maybe I'll comment back behind the scenes. I'm almost embarrassed to say this, and I don't even know what it's all about, really. But a little shameless plug or whatever the case may be. But look out if you buy the tabloids out here, and I know sometimes, I don't get into that stuff. But yours truly will actually be part of a story tomorrow in the New York Post. I don't even know what it is. I have an idea of some of the other people that are part of the story. It's going to be nuts. I'm sure. But yeah, it should be fun. Should be fun. I don't know why they came to me. I just guess I'm lucky, But yeah, so look out for that. Also on Wednesday, listen, let me do this live, man. Shout out to all you beautiful people that are in here tonight, but that were in here Sunday night for Sunday Night Baseball as we watched that great victory Sunday night over the Cubs. And these things have been successful, and they've been tons of fun to do. I'm a little nervous about doing it with the Yankees, but we're going to be doing that on Wednesday night too. So look out for that. Another live watch along. See how that goes. We're 3-0 in those so far, but we've been riding my boy Luis Severino, and he won't be pitching Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing you guys at 9:30. Thank you once again for coming in here with me, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. And thanks again to JJ. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, let's go Mets, baby. If there's a game to be played, it's a game to be won. So tomorrow, let's get back to winning some goal games, baby. You guys have a good night. Peace.